This edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series. Check out Stadium Series Night 2 on September 19th, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as Brian Pillman Jr. defends the Warrior Wrestling Championship against Warhorse. And of course, you can check out Stadium Series Night 3 the Saturday following, with much more action from our good friends at Warrior Wrestling. Without further ado, this is Tru Heel Heat. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are back with our latest podcast, Tru Heel Heat 92. The road to 100 continues. On this edition of Tru Heel Heat, we will be previewing the start of the premier tournament in pro wrestling, the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 30, as well as discussing an update on Matt Riddle speaking out allegations, as well as the latest Sonya Deville's stalker charges, as well as an update on which WWE Superstar is possibly leaving the WWE, and the return of the Wednesday Night War between WWE NXT and AEW Dynamite this week. I am back once again with the princess of all the Tru Heels, the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Luv.
Hello. I am wearing a bow in homage to my girl, Miss Harlem. So this is for you, boo.
Harlem appreciates you. She's rolling over in her crib, just thinking about you wearing a bow. And Top Guy JJ is once again not with us. He is enjoying his vacation across the pond, so we had to fill in his big shoes with a very, very special guest. He is one of our great Tru Heel Heat content providers, as well as one of the heads of our post-production. He is the co-host for True Rewind. He is the driver of our DeLorean on our throwback show as we review the Monday Night War, and he is also a warrior in itself on Wednesday nights with Chris G on Wednesday Night Warriors. He is the very talented. He is a man that I don't usually compliment this much when I do introductions.
The man of many hats.
The connoisseur of all reporting, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that introduction. You know, this is my Tru Heel Heat debut. I hope I got some Dominic or Pat McAfee magic going on with my debut.
You finally got called up to the main roster.
Right? Exactly. We don't get cussed out now.
We put you on a big show. You're getting the Keith Lee push, sir.
Oh, right? Do I have to change my gear?
I was going to say, don't wear that shitty ass gear.
Well, you did change your gear from the last time we saw you. You have a beard back, so we're happy. But thank you for joining us, good sir. We are glad to have you on the flagship show on Tru Heel Heat. This is a reminder to you, the viewers at home, as usual, like this video, show your support for our podcast, share this video if you want to update all your wrestling friends with everything going on in the wrestling world, from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, ROH, NWA. We talk about it all on Tru Heel Heat. We don't discriminate, and this edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by our friends at Warrior Wrestling with their Stadium Series Night 2 this coming Saturday, September 19th, with Brian Pillman Jr. versus Warhorse for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. And of course, the iCard down at the bottom, you can push that to subscribe, and the bell below that to stay notified for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. You can get personalized notification or all notifications, or if you just want to listen to us on Tru Heel Heat, you have the audio platforms as well. As we start off every Tru Heel Heat with our Tru Heel roll call, this is for you, the viewers, the supporters, the subscribers for Tru Heel Heat. We shout you guys out because we love you guys. You make it possible for us to continue doing these podcasts for almost 100 episodes for 3 years strong. And we started off with our top 3 conversation starters on the Tru Heels group page are Tru Heel Trinity. Coming in at number 3 is Ted Williams. Coming in at number 2 is our New Japan aficionado, James Wims. He's tingling as the G1 Climax is about to begin. Yes, that tingling line was just for you, Krssi. And coming in at number 1 is the Negro Buck himself, Nick Jackson.
Damn, Ted Williams took my spot, the baseball Hall of Famer that passed away. They got him out of ice or something. I remember when I used to be in the Tru Heel Trinity. I remember.
I know. I think you. To be honest, I think you still are, but we don't include you because you're a part of the family.
He's busy working on all the shows. That's why.
Okay, you retired me. I'm in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah, you're in the Hall of Fame. Right. Your jersey is hung up, sir. Couple other Tru Heels we got to shout out: Harold Sevilla, Jay Diaz, who's a new member of the Tru Heels group page, Russell Harrison, Stephanie Savlulo, I hope I said that right, Moses Gonzalez III, and Rick the Bull Vida. So shouts out to all of you guys showing your supports on Tru Heels on Facebook as well as Twitter. And our YouTube subscriber highlight, we got Kaju Spirit, who commented on J News Japan episode 30. Sanada has been on a freaking roll lately, and Suzuki Gun has a lot of belts now. I predict the junior tag will be between LIJ and Suzuki Gun. Good call there. And not sure who would win that one either. So shouts out to Kaju Spirit for that great comment. Paul Robinson on Tru Heel Heat 91, he commented, "Love yours podcast. Cheers for you doing." So I think you are from England because cheers. You didn't say thanks, so I appreciate you. From across the pond, Nick Jackson, our Negro Buck, says, "Keep it up, y'all. Best wrestling podcast out there." We always appreciate you, Nick. Funny Moments Now says, "This looks like a great fun channel. Congrats in advance on the success." Thank you so much. He commented that on Tru Heel Heat 91. And then our final comment comes from our comment king on the G1 Climax preview. It was Kayfabe Tactics who commented, "Goto is this generation's Chono. Chono only won the title once and couldn't even defend it. Goto has had a lot of chances to win it, but almost comes up short every time. But they also both known for their amazing G1 runs. Chono used to be called Mr. August for his 5 wins, and then Goto always having his best matches during it." So thank you once again, Kayfabe Tactics, for that great comment. And that moves us on to what we missed. What we missed was, of course, shouts out to our special guest from Tru Heel Heat 91, Steve Tortorello. He's such a great guy, such a great promoter for Warrior Wrestling. And I think, as Krssi saw on Tru Heel Heat 91, he is a true wrestling fan. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Krssi enjoyed him because he's a principal. So working in the school system, she goes close to her heart. It was Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series Night 1 this past weekend. Kylie Ray in the main event defeated Tessa Blanchard to win the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship. I know our good friend Stat King is very happy about that. We all made that call as well. Yep. But this also may have been Tessa Blanchard's final independent date, with rumors being that Impact officials say that she did not sign with the promotion due to having another offer from a different company. So I do want to ask you guys, what do you think about Tessa Blanchard's possible final independent show with Warrior Wrestling, and where do you think she will sign next? Romeo, you're a special guest. I will start with you.
It's time. It is time. I've been waiting for this match, this dream match. Tessa Blanchard versus Charlotte Flair. It is time.
Oh, God.
To WWE. You can start an NXT if you want, since Charlotte's taking a little break. And then team up together. Charlotte and Tessa as a tag team champions. Oh, I would love it. The Diamond and the Queen.
If only Arn Anderson had a child. He had a daughter. You can get the real 4 horsemen with the daughters. That would be epic.
That would be actually epic. Yeah, you're right. She's still a scumbag, but it's cool.
Miss Krssi Luv, I know your personal thoughts on Tessa Blanchard, but where do you think she's gonna go next?
Most likely, she's gonna come to the WWE. Sure, whatever. It is what it is. You know my feelings. I'm not even going to go on a whole rant about her. But most likely WWE. I don't see her going to AEW right now or being brought with her dad or anything like that. She's gonna go where the money probably is gonna be talking more. So most likely is WWE.
WWE has had officials very high on her. You know,
Right.
AEW has said that they want to kind of stay clear from all the controversy from earlier
Right.
in the year with the racial slur that she said to La Rosa Negra. So, probably
controversial characters welcome at WWE.
Of always.
Controversy creates cash. They made a lot of money off that novel. Warrior Wrestling also had Warhorse beat Joey Janela to become the #1 contender for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. The Rascals defeated Chris Bay, Myron Reed, and Jordan Oliver in a show stealer, and it sets up a #1 contenders matchup for the next Warrior Wrestling event, which is Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series Night 2, as we said at the top of the show, with all 3 members of the Rascals fighting for the #1 contendership for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. So Steve Tortorello, he listened to us asking for more opportunities for the Rascals, and now one of the members is going to get a shot at the Warrior Wrestling Championship, and that championship match is going to be on night 3, which is on September 26th. So shouts out to everyone at Warrior Wrestling. SmackDown we also missed, which had Roman Reigns showing up late. He was on CP time as he wins a tag team. He is colored. I'm just saying.
Okay, fine.
He wins a tag team match with his cousin Jey Uso against Sheamus and King Corbin. This is your land of opportunity, Miss Krssi Luv. What was your thoughts on Roman showing up late as his cousin was getting beat down, which made no sense because I don't understand why the referee rang the bell.
Well, yeah, because I thought you had to have both people there for the match to start. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of this. Like, I don't feel like wrestling at that time. I come when I come. I'm the champ. I don't got to do what you got. Like, I love it. I'm here for all of it. But yeah, I didn't understand why who understands anything the WWE does? I'll wait.
Also a good point, but I need to get that show up and win shirt. That show up and win shirt is paying off because that's his whole character.
Right, all his merch is just like great right now, man.
We need a tribal chief shirt too.
Absolutely, and a Paul Heyman shirt which says "Council for the Tribal Chief."
Yes,
I'm with
absolutely. I'm with it.
We also had Bayley in her promo explaining why she turned her back on Sasha Banks, saying that she's been using Sasha this whole time, as Sasha Banks will return this coming week on SmackDown. Romeo, what's your thoughts on Sasha Banks seemingly coming back, in my opinion, way too soon?
Exactly. Yes. What? Milk this out. Come on. That was a brutal beatdown. What is that, 2 weeks later?
My last statement.
And Bayley already has her match at Clash of Champions. Like, wait until after, at least.
I see you at WrestleMania, friends.
Unless Sasha gets beat down again, that'd be hilarious.
Right.
or it's like a sit down interview, like backstage, or from her home with her still rehabilitating. And our good friend Tom Conahue of Sportskeeda reports that they are going to do Bayley versus Sasha at Hell in a Cell. Romeo, are you of the opinion that it should happen at Hell in a Cell and that their first match of their feud should be a Hell in a Cell match, or do you think, like we have said, it should be waited longer until WrestleMania?
First of all, if Sasha Banks comes back on SmackDown, I need her to be in a full body cast. First of all, that would be great. Second of all, I did think they were gonna, premature ejaculation. They were gonna do it at Hell in a Cell. I did think that was gonna happen. I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but Sasha and Bayley, Hell in a Cell. I'm sure it'll be a great match, but Sasha needs to win the Royal Rumble, and you need to have this at WrestleMania. But maybe you could still do both and get away with it. Who knows?
That's tough. But yeah, maybe we will. You never know with the WWE. You just never know.
Question for you guys. What do you guys think about it being where Bayley said she was using Sasha? I would have went at a different angle. What would you guys have said for her, turning her back on her friend?
I actually loved Bailey's promo because she said something that we were all thinking the entire time, that Sasha was actually using Bailey to stay close to her, to stay close to the title, to find out the right time to turn on Bailey. So Bailey used that against her and said, I just turned on you before you could turn on me. So I loved the explanation by Bailey because it made sense.
Okay.
Bailey's such a troll. I love the analogy that you brought up, Sid, that this is her teenage phase, and that's just what a teenager would do. Oh, you're dumping me? No, I'm dumping you.
Let me dump you before you dump me. I don't want you to be. I want to be the dumper, not the dumpy.
Like Bailey's just going out her teenage year. She's like a sophomore, junior in high school, and she's just going through this phase. She hasn't graduated high school yet. She just had to use her friend to get to the top, to become class valedictorian. You know, she's Bailey is trash. Yes,
it's just like that. Yep.
And also, like Romeo said, Nikki Cross wins a fatal 4-way to get a shot at the SmackDown Women's title at Clash of Champions, even after her best friend Alexa Bliss gave her sister Abigail. Krssi, what have you been thinking about Alexa Bliss's turn to the dark side ever since her encounter with the Fiend?
I'm loving it. I can't wait to see what else is going to happen. I'm excited for it.
You're all for this new Alexa?
I'm for it. Yes, let's do it. I'm ready for a darker. Let's get the pink out. Let's get dark ends. Let's do it all. I'm ready for the whole hair change, the whole outfit change. Let's do it.
So, Romeo, my question for you is, isn't it kind of strange that Alexa seems to be going closer to the heel side, while The Fiend has now transitioned into becoming the top babyface on SmackDown? It's kind of weird, if you ask me.
Retarded.
It is a little weird, but think of the merchandise they're gonna sell with Alexa and Bray and the Fiend all together. They can come up with some nice designs. I know it's WWE. They can come up with some nice designs, I think. Alexa, by the way, that sister Abigail was clean, beautiful.
It was. I think I'm gonna enjoy Alexa versus Nikki though as a feud. I think this is a nice little undercard feud, but it seems like every feud or even the feuds that are for the SmackDown Women's title, but every feud on SmackDown that doesn't involve the SmackDown Women's title are just friends that broke up. Mandy, Sonya, Alexa,
that's
Nikki.
The wave. Everybody's breaking up on WWE programming.
I'm going to say that's just what they do. We don't understand why they do these things, but they can't come up with anything new.
So in the past, I think it's been the past 4 weeks, we have seen AOP get fired, the Golden Role Models break up. Over the last couple of months, Mandy and Sonya broke up. The Iconics, Andrade and Angel Garza, that was in my Raw notes, but they broke up this week. Lucha House Party are teasing a breakup. Nakamura and Cesaro are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, but they teased the breakup. Does WWE really hate tag teams that much?
Yes. Absolutely.
I guess
they never gave a hell about any of the tag team division. They just put people together that were never even tag teams, and they put them together, and then they break them up. That's what they do.
You have the draft coming up. You could use that as an excuse to break up some of these teams without everyone just not getting along all of a sudden.
Oh, and also we'll talk about a couple of other teams that broke up this week as well. But speaking of the team that seems to be united, we'll move on to Monday Night Raw, where Retribution, Aces and 5/8, made their presence known, interfering in the main event between Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee. But the Hurt Business comes down to confront them. First, I want to ask you, Romeo. We ask all of our special guests on Tru Heel Heat, what are your thoughts on Retribution?
It's cheesy, it's goofy. It had potential if you had like a fucking, superstar leader behind it, but I don't think they're gonna do that. And as far as Monday goes, they better hope that Dijakovic and Mia Yim are not in Retribution for them to attack Keith Lee. What the hell is going on here? That's Keith Lee's friend, and that's Keith Lee's girlfriend.
Right. But it was his best friend that he let get murdered by Karrion Kross. Just saying, Keith, you weren't a good friend there.
No, the friend said don't. He wanted to help him, but the friend said no. So he only did what his friend told him to do.
Well, speaking of Keith Lee, I'm sad that top guy JJ is not with us, but there's been reports lately that WWE does not have a concrete plan for Keith Lee on the main roster. They are high on him and do want to push him, but there's no concrete plan in place for the former North American and NXT champion. Miss Krssi Luv, what's your thoughts on Keith Lee not having a concrete plan in place?
Hence why I've said from the beginning his push to go to the main roster shouldn't have been done. I've been saying this from when it happened. Why give him a push to have the North American title? Then he gets the NXT title, just for him to get it taken away or to lose because of what happened to Karrion Kross. That's all fine, but then he could have had the other belt. Like, I didn't understand it. Like, I know he was supposed to be pushed, but it was too soon. Like, let him have his run and let him get his run the right way. So I'm not surprised that this is where they are right now. I'm not surprised at all. I told you this shouldn't happen, but no one listens to me. No one listens to me at all.
You know, sometimes we don't, sometimes we do. WWE doesn't.
Yep.
The hurt, but Krssi, what's your thoughts on the Hurt Business coming down and confronting Retribution, looking like the Afro American evolution?
And the dress-up suits and everything, great.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought it was cute. Can I just say I was looking at Retribution to see some of the characters. Definitely saw Sami Zayn in there. Definitely seen Dijakovic or whatever his name is. The girls, I know it's two. I seen at least two girls, but like they gotta come up with better ways. Like the person that was on the camera, just horrible, going back and forth. Whoever's in the production in the back.
Oh my God, those camera cuts were like that ending was great, but those camera cuts like almost ruined it completely.
Yes, like anywho, it was cute for them to come out, and I was like, wait, but I thought they were supposed to be bad. So now, how are they supposed to be good and then helping to save the guys from Retribution? I didn't get it. I was like,
well, they're badasses, and you know they went up to Adam Pearce, who apparently is the authority figure on both Raw and SmackDown. It wasn't announced, but
not a very good one.
He's not. He's not a very good security either.
Retribution gets in every single week. What security is this?
But they went to him and they said that they wanted to take care of the Retribution problem. He said, "Oh, thank you for volunteering," and they was like, "No, we'll send you our bill." So that they're still heels. They're still heels. They are still heels.
Okay, great, sure.
I would say all in all though, this Monday Night Raw, this in your face as they called it, Monday Night Raw was a good one. We also had Asuka defeating Mickie James in a Raw Women's title match. Very weird finish. Apparently the referee thought that Mickie had popped out her shoulder. But just Mickie James is really good at wrestling and just sold very well and fooled the referee apparently. So he ended the match early before she was able to tap out. But then I will ask Romeo of this one. Zelina Vega comes down to challenge Asuka. This is after, like I said, Andrade and Angel Garza apparently broke up. So do you prefer Zelina Vega going into like a God bless you. Do you prefer Zelina Vega going into like a wrestling role over her being a manager?
No, I prefer both of them. I would like to see Zelina, once in a while mix it up, but without not being a manager at all. Andrade needs Zelina Vega.
Yes!
Needs. If you want to break up the tag team, fine, but Andrade needs Zelina Vega. They are a perfect combination. Why would you ever break them up?
It's a very weird state, but apparently another behind the scenes news note from this week. We also saw on the In Your Face Raw, Kevin Owens defeat Aleister Black after the lights flickered from Retribution, but Aleister Black lost, Andrade split up with Garza, and apparently the news this week is that both Aleister Black and Andrade's pushes are dead. Apparently Paul Heyman was very big on those two young superstars, but Vince McMahon doesn't see enough in both of those guys. What's your thoughts on Vince not seeing anything in Andrade and Aleister Black, Romeo?
Well, when do their contracts end up? When do they end? That's what they're looking. They're looking at the contracts. They're like, okay, when am I leaving here? What's the count?
Yeah, because it's it's to the point where I need Vince to be just like number 45 and just go already. I just need you to leave. I just need you to go. I'm done with your foolishness. Like, you don't see talent. Like, you don't see anything. Just like number 45. You are just oblivious and you don't understand and you don't get it. And you see something totally than what we see.
You know what's hilarious though?
What?
When you're talking about Andrade and Aleister Black, is that Vince McMahon loves the female counterparts to both of them, Charlotte and Zelina. They get no rub from that. No rub.
They get nothing. He loves their women. First of all, Vince loves women in general. Let's put it. Let's just. You want to speak about it? Then I'm gonna go through the door and I'm gonna talk about it. He loves women. He loves all types of women, shades, all of it. So for him to love the counterparts, this is why Zelina is probably gonna get a little push. Charlotte is now just taking a little breather. She's on,
But this is like a theme with Vince, because you look at Lana. He prefers Lana. He doesn't see anything in Rusev. He apparently is very high on Peyton Royce. He never saw anything in Shawn Spears. So it's something that's
Sable, Mark Merrow.
Yep.
Been going on since the beginning of time, apparently. Also on the In Your Face Raw, Braun Strowman of SmackDown shows up and destroys everyone in Raw Underground to set him up versus Dabba-Kato next week. So apparently Dabba-Kato had to change his name from Babatunde, which to me is like the same thing. But the news that came out this week is apparently this is a change from Vince, because the Babatunde is his real name and they want to own his name. But this actually created a whole different talk on Wrestling Observer Radio, as our Uncle Dave Meltzer revealed the reason why Alexander Rusev was changed to Rusev a couple of years ago was because they did a production meeting and Vince said, oh no, if he's called Alexander Rusev, they're going to call him Alex, and Alex is not a heel's name. Just like he changed the name of Cesaro from Antonio Cesaro because he said if he's called Antonio Cesaro, they're going to call him Tony, and Tony is not a heel name. So Brian Alvarez, being the smartass that he is, said, oh, but what about him? His name is Vince McMahon. No one would call him Vinny. Vinny is not a heel name. And then Meltzer responded with this, like, he did change his name. He's been called Mr. McMahon for years. That's the reason. So apparently Vince is very against certain first names. It's one of the weird pet peeves of your favorite, Krssi Luv. What do you think about that?
He's got to go. I'm over it. He's got to go. Him and 45, just pack it up and go drive into the sunset, please. I'm over you too.
Let me tell you something. I know a lot of assholes named Vince, Vinny, Alex, Tony. They're all heel names.
I'm going to say Tony is an asshole. Anthony, Tony.
Okay, relax.
Pretty Tony.
That's his middle name.
Same shit.
Jesus. Talking about, she's shooting on you, Romeo. We also saw the Street Profits beat Cesaro and Nakamura in a champions versus champion match, and finally we saw Seth Rollins beat Dominic Mysterio in a steel cage, and then attacked Murphy with Aaliyah Mysterio checking on Murphy afterwards.
Murphy helped him, man. Like, come on. Like, I'm so like, what are you doing?
What's your thoughts on Seth and Murphy breaking up, Krssi?
I hate it. I liked it. Like, the factions. What's the, like, you can't have that many factions now? Like, I don't get it. We can only have one faction at a time? Like, how long before the art business is in it has a job for like 3 months and then they're going to break them up? Like, I'm like, and then they're like, Messiah is supposed to have followers. Like, hello?
I guess it
hemmed them up and just like all like I was like, damn, there goes Murphy's push. Like, he's gonna be just back in the locker room now.
Well, in my eyes, I just thought it was AOP's gone. Austin Theory messed up during the Speaking Out movement. He's on NXT, so this whole Messiah stable had to end. So that was the whole thing, and this was the end of it.
Theory really doesn't have he keeps losing, as you can see. They don't really give a shit about him. So
we'll talk about NXT very shortly. Romeo, what's your thoughts on Aaliyah Mysterio being a character and the whole thing with Seth and Murphy breaking up?
Aaliyah and Murphy, they're obviously teasing something there. This has Triple H and Stephanie McMahon vibes all over it.
Oh my god! I don't want
maybe they're not broken up, Seth and Murphy. Maybe this is all a ploy to bring
get her to be
Aaliyah
bad.
Mysterio.
Yeah. Oh.
And I can't wait to see Rey Mysterio's acting and his face when his
me,
baby girl.
I'm gonna say, baby girl, please come back home, please. I have to fight for my daughter, Murphy. Oh, maybe they'll get married and go to Vegas too.
I call Murphy Daddy now.
Oh! Look it, I'm ready. Let's go.
Murphy is my poppy.
Oh my god. Oh my god, we're gonna have to go back to this clip if this really happens.
Yes, I'm with you, Romeo. Let's do it. I'm ready for see, this is why they need us in the writing room. Yo, this will be so good. So good.
Oh man, what a change that would be. And I don't want to see Rey Mysterio have to act it out.
A round of shots on me.
There you go, Romeo. You got shots.
I'll buy you a beer or whatever.
So when Rey Mysterio is sad, I don't know. It's hilarious to me. I don't know. There's something very Eddie Guerrero about me. I don't know.
You just love it a little too much. So also this what we missed: New Japan Strong and New Japan Road. Kenta defended his IWGP US title shot, beating Jeff Cobb thanks to help from Chase Owens. And apparently the news coming out this week is that Jeff Cobb has apparently signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's been teased for a couple of months. He's been very coy on what the promotion was that he signed with, but yes, he has signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and we'll talk about him being a part of the G1 Climax at the end of the show. El Desperado and Kanemaru beat Hiromu and Bushi of LIJ to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles in the end of that tournament. Speaking of tournaments, ROH Pure Tournament saw Jay Lethal defeat Dalton Castle to move on, and Jonathan Gresham defeated Wheeler Yuta to move on, as well as they tease a finals between the ROH Tag Team Champions of Gresham and Lethal. And NWA UWN Primetime Live debuted this week on pay-per-view and Fight TV. Nick Aldis defeated Mike Bennett to defend the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and Hammerstone defeated EJ Sparks to defend the West Coast Championship. And then finally on Impact Wrestling, Rich Swann was granted his title shot at the Impact World title against Eric Young at Bound for Glory after a very impassioned promo. What's your thoughts on Rich Swann versus Eric Young at Bound for Glory, Krssi?
Well, for one, I saw the promo and I was like, this person, seems like they're really injured and they're on crutches and, they're asking for a match, but then I was told otherwise. So, I will be happy to find out and see where this leads, but, again, I was, confused. I'm like, how is this person asking for a match? And he looks clearly like he can't even fight anybody, or he can barely walk.
Well, both men made their return to Impact Wrestling at Slammiversary. Rich Swann from injury, Eric Young from, being released from WWE. And at Slammiversary, Rich Swann eliminated Eric Young in a 5-way main event. After that, Eric Young took him out and injured his leg. He injured him so bad that Rich Swann was debating whether he wanted to retire. He came out on an episode of Impact and did a whole retirement speech. And then at the end of it, as he's looking on to all the wrestlers around the ring, Eric Young came behind him and hit him in the leg with his crutch. So that was the whole reason for the impassioned promo and why he wants to come back and get a shot at the Impact World title. And he made a very good case because he is the only guy that has pinned Eric Young since Eric Young's return to Impact Wrestling. So it made sense on a number of levels, and it's one of the best feuds in wrestling right now, in my opinion. So if you're not watching Impact Wrestling, don't worry, just watch Dark Power with our boy Stat King. He'll tell you all about it. Also on Impact, we saw Trey defeat TJP to set up a 3-way between those two and Chris Bay for the #1 contender for the X Division title. Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, and the North defeated the Motor City Machine Guns and the Good Brothers after the heels took out Rascals before the match. So it seems like we're going to get a 4-way for the Impact Tag Team title. So a lot of things heating up on Impact Wrestling as we move closer to Bound for Glory. So that moves us on to our top news. news, and our top news story has to do with a little bit of real life seeping into our wrestling world, so we got to talk about it. Matt Riddle controversy heats up once again, and Sonya Deville's stalker pleads not guilty to the charges. So, yes. Earlier this year, we had a huge shock in the wrestling community with the speaking out movement. One of the allegations was against SmackDown superstar Matt Riddle, with Candy Cartwright, aka Samantha Deville, who's an independent wrestler, accusing the original Bro of being said to sexually assault her. Cartwright wrote back in June, and I quote, "Back in May of 2018, I was riding with Matt Riddle and a few other wrestlers. During the van ride, when 3 other wrestlers had fallen asleep, Matt asked me to hop on his dick." That's her quote, not mine. "When I refused, although we had previously been together, I was incredibly uncomfortable in that setting. When I said no, he grabbed me by my throat, choked me, and said, 'What if I just made you?' I ended up giving him oral sex, praying someone wouldn't wake up to get out of having intercourse with him. It was incredibly humiliating, and it is never okay to put your hands on a woman. It's also not okay to not listen when she says no." Riddle denied the allegations, did admit that he had a relationship with Cartwright, and then he accused Cartwright of stalking him and his family, as well as sending threats to his wife. Riddle sent an injunction against Cartwright for a restraining order, in which Candy's lawyers denied due to a lack of evidence against her. And now, just days before the court hearing where Riddle was going to have his restraining order put into place, he withdrew those restraining orders due to that lack of evidence. More details on this are available on the Babyface vs. Heels website, but Candy Cartwright did say that she was a little bit relieved by all of this and felt a little bit of vindication with the fact that he had so much lack of evidence, and his withdrawal does say a lot about how the whole situation is. On another end of the real world, seeping into the wrestling community, we had Sonya Deville's stalker has pleaded not guilty for all the charges, so now they will be going to court to plead his case against the charges against him after trying to kidnap the SmackDown superstar. As we noted before, this real-life incidents led to changes for the SummerSlam match between Sonya and Mandy, and also the reason why Deville has been taking time off from TV on WWE. So what are your guys' thoughts on Candy Cartwright first, on somewhat being vindicated with the recent development to her allegations against Matt Riddle? I'll start with you, Romeo.
That does look kind of fishy that Matt Riddle's taking back the restraining order. But this is going to come down to a battle of lawyers. This is a he said, she said.
Yep.
I don't know what to make of it, really. We'll see what the courts say. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very sticky situation for sure, but Krssi, since SmackDown is your domain, do you believe the recent developments will affect Matt Riddle's push, or even possibly have already affected Matt Riddle's push? I know back at Payback they did mention a little bit of that due to a Baron Corbin tweet where he said that Riddle was a failure at home, but do you think this has affected his push on SmackDown?
No, because WWE likes fuckboy shit, so it's fine with them. This is nothing new. So I don't think it. He probably won't be. He'll miss a match or two maybe, but I don't think it'll affect him whatsoever.
Do you feel for Cartwright with the fact that a lot of people did not believe her when this first came out?
I absolutely do. My heart goes out to her. It's like, if like you said, it's a matter of he says, she said, and it's like it sucks sometimes where most people don't believe what you're saying about a superstar, and they're like, well, he couldn't have done that. He has his whole family, a wife, all that stuff, whatever. But it sucks that and then it's very suspicious that he takes the restraining order away now. It's very fishy, and like you said, we have to let the courts decide on that part. I mean, I just pray that it comes where if this happened, that she gets whatever she needs to make some way, some light at the tunnel where it makes her feel okay,
Yeah, I definitely understand you there. But speaking of court, how long do you think this whole court case will go on in regards to Sonya Deville's stalker? And I mean, I know it's understandable that you want to take it to court, but does he have a leg to stand on here with all the evidence against him? I'll start with you, Romeo.
No. Not at all. but you have to plead not guilty just in the hopes and the prayers that you get a less severe penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's guilty as hell.
Yep, definitely.
I think there's like no denying there. We are all in agreement on that one. We wanted to touch on this, but we got to get back to our wrestling world, the more lighter side of things. But we had to touch on those real life situations because it is going on. So our hearts and prayers out to Samantha Deville, aka Candy Cartwright, as well as Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose as they deal with these real life situations. Well, moving on to some more top news. This one, I just had to update my agenda here and add on, as WrestleVotes reported a few days ago that an unnamed top star of WWE would be leaving the company when their contract was up, and it appears that superstar is none other than the one and only Ricochet. Ricochet signed a 3-year deal with WWE back in January of 2018, and he has yet to sign a new deal with the company, so that deal should be up this coming January of 2021. Krssi Luv, what are your thoughts on Ricochet possibly leaving the WWE?
I understand, sir. It's to the point where Vince doesn't know what again, we need you to go, friend. We need you to go. He was being pushed. He was in a great mood. He was in the right push to right area. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, just because you don't see the star quality, you put me on the sideline and you give me like bullshit matches and you give me like crap to do. So I understand it. I'm not happy where I am. I'm going to leave, and someone else will appreciate this talent. You understand what I'm saying? So I get it. Go where you can be appreciated and get your flowers where you can. I'm not going to sit here and just collect the check, even if you or not collect the check. I don't know how they're being paid, but yeah, I would go too if I'm not happy and I'm not if you're not pushing me and I'm not getting to wrestle the people that I want to. I was once on top, and now you got me like not even mid card. I mean, like I'm in no card, to be honest. Like. So I mean, go. I will follow you where you go, Ricochet.
So, what are your thoughts, Romeo, on Ricochet's time in WWE so far, from debuting on WWE NXT in that 5-star classic ladder match for the North American Championship? He became the second ever North American champion, defeating Adam Cole in NXT. He lost that title and then won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic with Aleister Black. Came to the main roster after WrestleMania. I believe it was 35, and he's had up and downs there. He won the US title in the beginning of his time there, then lost it to AJ Styles. He was very high. Paul Heyman was very high on him on Monday Night Raw when he was in power, but ever since Heyman has kind of saw his power decrease, we've seen the push or de-push of Ricochet ever since there to where he is now. So what are your thoughts on his time in WWE?
Wasted potential.
Yep.
This Ricochet is probably, him and Ospreay, the two most athletic wrestlers in the world. Ricochet probably more so now that Ospreay's beefed up and can't do what he's did before. But Ricochet he's so athletic. The things he could do in the ring are unheard of, unseen before. But Ricochet has his weaknesses. He cannot, for the life of him, talk at all. Which is why you should have just kept him in NXT so he could work on that kind of stuff and then maybe get better. If you're going to have him on the main roster, I would have preferred to see Ricochet join the Hurt Business instead of Cedric, just because, Ricochet is the better talent to me, and maybe that would have done something for Ricochet as far as like character development and getting better, working with MVP. I don't know. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good idea with MVP being able to talk for him. He probably needed it more than Cedric. Cedric kind of showed that he does have some speaking ability when he was the Cruiserweight champion on 205 Live, so he can be a babyface who can talk, but Ricochet really has never shown that, so I do agree that probably would have been a better move.
See, this is where they mess up at. See, they could have had, like, the light-skinned brother, they could have made that whole thing. The other light-skinned brother helping him out, get him better on this mic, and going against Cedric. I would have swapped the two, but hey, whatever. What do I know? I don't work there. They don't want my information. They don't want my input. So I would have definitely switched the two and had him in that group instead of Cedric. But who am I? Whatever.
Well, we do want your opinion here, Krssi Luv. So, where do you think Ricochet will go next if he does leave WWE? Does he go back to a place like New Japan Pro Wrestling, or does he possibly make the move to AEW?
Not even Impact?
I mean, I will just say, I am a big fan of Impact Wrestling, but I feel like that would be a major step down for him because he got the push that guys like Eric Young, Heath Slater, the guys that have made that move back over to Impact Wrestling, they never got the push that Ricochet got. So I can see him going to the number one promotion in Japan, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he's had success before, but never major success. We're winning a title in New Japan, so he has unfinished ground there. Or I could see him going to the number one competitor of WWE and AEW, seeing as AEW guys like the Young Bucks have worked with him before and they're very high on him. I could see him going there.
AEW for sure. Yeah.
AEW.
Go over there. And they'll praise you, and like you said, if he's cool with the Bucks and everybody knows them, he's worked with most of those guys, he'll kick ass over there. Just look at Brody Lee.
Good point.
Just saying.
How about you, Romeo? Where do you see him going?
I think AEW is absolutely the move for him to do, but once he gets there, he could have 4 and 5 star matches with anybody, but he's still not going to be able to talk.
Oh God!
And we need. But they have plenty of mouthpieces over there, so maybe he could get hooked up with somebody good. It's hard to believe Ricochet is just 31 years old, and that's still a baby in the wrestling business.
Yeah, that's true.
He's really young. Alright, but speaking of AEW and WWE...
My favorite part? Yay!
Yes, Krssi Luv's favorite part of the show. Some of you guys' favorite part as well. This is where we talk about the Wednesday Night War. I've lost count on the weeks. I believe it's week 47 because we missed a couple of weeks. Week 47, week 48 of the Wednesday Night Wars, where we talk about WWE NXT and AEW Dynamite. We give you the ratings from both shows and we break down what happened, and then we decide what we thought was the better show for the week. If you don't like our opinions, join the good brother Romeo on Wednesday Night Warriors. That's going to be up this weekend, where him and Chris G, as well as his lovely assistant Mary Jane, break down fully both shows, each segment by segment, and then give you the better show in their opinion. And Romeo is very unique on his takes, to say the least. But
that's another fancy way of saying unbiased. Unique. Unique.
Would not say that. The U word is definitely not unbiased, but unique, yes. Krssi Luv, you love to hit the drums on this, so you want to take it away?
I'm ready.
Alright, so for this week, Wednesday Night War at WWE NXT finishes with 689,000 viewers, down from their big time numbers of 845,000 viewers on Tuesday night. They are down to 689 this week. To AEW Dynamite with 886,000 for this week, and they are also down from their high number of 2020 with 1.016 million last week. Over on WWE NXT, Damian Priest defeats Timothy Thatcher to defend the North American title. We had Io Shirai defeating Shotzi Blackheart in a hell of an opener, one of the best women's matches of the year. Breezango defeats Imperium to defend the NXT Tag Team Championships. A new attitude from Kushida as he defeats, pretty much squashes, Austin Theory. And then we also had the setup for a women's battle royal to determine the number one contender for Io Shirai's women's title, and a gauntlet eliminator to determine the number one contender for Finn Balor's NXT Championship, as NXT TakeOver is going to be in just 2 weeks' time, October 4th, and we have no matches made.
I was say, Is this takeover time? I'm like so confused.
It's very main roster.
This feels like the payback edition, honestly.
Okay, it's not just me then. Okay, wait.
Yes.
So wait, what was the numbers again? Who won?
AEW, of course.
Okay, no, of course they did. Okay, then go ahead, friend. Sorry.
AEW Dynamite had one of the best Dynamite matches of all time, and probably one of the matches of the year, as Best Friends defeated Santana and Ortiz in a brutal, absolute brutal parking lot fight with one of the best endings in Dynamite history, as Sue picked up her boys afterwards and flipped off Santana and Ortiz for ruining her minivan. FTR defeated Jurassic Express in the opener. We had Hangman Page defeat Kazarian in an awesome match with Kenny Omega on commentary. Thunder Rosa defeated Ivelisse to defend the NWA Women's World title. After the match, Diamante and Ivelisse attacked Thunder Rosa, with Shida making the save and staring at the NWA Women's title. Jericho and Hager defeated Private Party after Jericho takes out Matt Hardy backstage, allegedly. MJF teases joining a stable and a setup for a 6-man tag team matchup with Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks against Jon Moxley, the new assignee of AEW Will Hobbs, and the returning Darby Allin for next week on AEW Dynamite. Romeo, you are our guest, so what do you think was the better show? I know you're going to give a full account of what you thought was the better show on your show, but give us what you thought was the better show this week.
It's such a shame that I come on this week when I can't even defend NXT. AEW was the better show. Dynamite, after 2 poor weeks in a row for me, a week go home show to All Out, a week Fallout show from All Out. Dynamite is back, man! Oh man, it feels too sweet to be all released. Dynamite is back. Wow, that is the greatest parking lot fight I have ever seen.
Yes.
Some people are calling it the best street fight they ever seen. It's up there. That was one of the best Dynamite matches I've ever seen. Best, one of the best this year for sure. Wow, AEW knocked it out of the park. NXT though, Shotzi and Io, that was awesome. I'm so happy for my girl Shotzi. Push Shotzi to the moon. Put a rocket on her. But you don't have to do it right now. But that was a great showing for her.
Absolutely, and to even emphasize how good the parking lot fight was, Mick Foley, one of the greatest street fight wrestlers of all time, said that was one of the best street fights he ever seen. He went on Twitter and made himself like cameo videos talking about it and just praising this matchup. That's how good this match was. Krssi Luv, what did you think was the better show this week?
Absolutely, of course, AEW. I mean, I had the luxury of watching picture-in-picture for my Wednesday Night Wars, and I forgot all about the NXT main event. I'm so sorry. I was glued to my TV watching that street fight, street brawl, backyard brawl. It was so good. Whoever was the person behind that, you need an award. You need a night out, drinks all for you for free, because what you did with that street fight match of the year, I don't care what anyone says, it is better than the Stampede. It is so good. Wow. I think it was better than the Stampede. I'm sorry.
I mean, this was to give you some background on it, it was done in one take. This Dynamite episode was taped last Thursday. Also, the people behind it, of course, the 4 guys who were involved, but also Tony Khan had a lot of ideas for this matchup, as well as Jerry Lynn was the agent for this matchup, an ECW original there. So,
Mr. J.O.
I mean, just the bumps. Like, I just was like, yo, they need next week off or whatever week, whenever they tape again. They don't need to wrestle. Like, what's his name? Damn it, Cody, boss, sir. They don't have to come to work because they perform their asses off. Like, it was like, and my husband, who watches wrestling in and out, was just like glued to the TV watching them, and he's like, yo, they're dead. Like who? And shout out to Santana Ortiz, like, who are so New York, so the Bronx.
They're presidents.
They The dead presidents to represent me. Like, who? Like, come on. Like, that is like, you guys. Shout out to you guys for like just doing the damn thing. And Sue, who is the MVP of it all, she came in a new minivan and was like, "This is for you guys. Don't for my boys anymore." You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so. I was like, and then my husband was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Oh, that's their mom. The whole point of this is because they messed up her car." He was like, "Yo, that's so good."
I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
In hindsight, maybe not even in hindsight, should that have been an all out?
No. This
was definitely
because they wouldn't have the showcase. This was the reason why people are going to remember this is because in actuality, when you really look at the spectrum of the tag team division in AEW, these are two mid card tag teams in AEW. These are not the Young Bucks, FTR, Hangman, and Omega. These are kind of like middle of the pack tag teams, but they were given the main event spot and they were showcased, and that's the reason why this is going to be remembered so much. If this was on All Out, we would have timing issues. It would be structured down. It wouldn't get the showcase like it did here.
And sorry.
Let me say in hindsight, the Matt Hardy thing, it took a lot of people out of it.
Yeah.
Would this after that have brought you back into it if you were out of it?
Maybe.
This was crazy.
Yes. This was insane. I mean, my answer for the better show this week, I'm going to make it unanimous. It has to be AEW. I am one person. I came on here, Tru Heel Heat 91. I didn't agree with Romeo. I thought the follow-up to AEW was a great rebound show after what 100% was a lackluster go-home show and an all-out event that I called the weakest pay-per-view in AEW history. They had a good follow-up show last week that set the table for a lot of things in the future, but this episode was by far one of the best Dynamites of the year, period. And Dynamite has had great shows in the early part of the year, especially when there was fans in the building, but this probably was their best Dynamite of the pandemic era. Just everything hit. Like the FTR Jurassic Express was a really good opener. Hangman and Kazarian would probably be talked about a lot more if it wasn't for that parking lot fight, because Hangman and Kazarian was one of the best. That was like a G1 preview. Those guys went out there and they fought. The whole story of them being tag team wrestlers and showing fatigue early on and having to fight through, and then Omega on commentary just added so much. Just his range of emotions and combining the emotion of, okay, I'm here as a spectator, but then he's laughing when Hangman is about to lose, and like he's showing that he was happy that Hangman had to, like, oh, he's taking out a lot of his arsenal. Like, I never see him use that move. Like, he just added so much to this match. And then Hangman with his facial expressions looking over at the commentary table like a sad dog that's looking at his owner that doesn't want to claim him. Like,
Cavani and what was the other guy? Excalibur, they ain't shit either, because it was like, oh yeah, this is when you would go and tag your partner, and this is when you would like get some time to like breathe or whatever. Like, y'all ain't even shit. Y'all such instigators, yo.
Absolutely. And then even the Hangman at the end drinking the beer like he was sad about it. Like, that was just perfect stuff. And then I love the Evilise versus Thunder Rosa. That was one of the better women's matches that they have in a while. The women's division feels like it's back. It's back once again.
Two back-to-back women's matches. I was like, oh, this is. I was like, what's going on here? Like, do we have time to fill in? Like, you're letting the women do more work today? Okay.
They actually have a purpose for the women right now, so they hit on a lot of levels. And
I have breaking news about that match, by the way.
Go ahead.
Thank you to this is all dirt sheet radio. According to Fightful, Thunder Rosa and Evilise started exchanging real strikes during their match as it broke down a bit. There's a rumor going in the AEW locker room that the two weren't getting along prior to their match. It appears that Evilise wanted to test the NWA Women's World Champ by not selling, and Thunder Rosa had a way of making her sell. Wow.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you for that.
I did see that in the beginning. The beginning was rough. Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer Radio, like there was a lot of rough sequences, especially when they were going for their different arm drags at the start. But this match, other than the first minute, was spot on. It was physical. It was a really good NWA Women's title match. But yes, it's all the talk has to be, and deservingly so, about that parking lot fight. For that is the Dynamite match of the year. That might be the TV match of the year, and one of the best spots. And Dynamite has been known for its spots, especially when it comes to Canadian destroyers, but this wasn't a Canadian destroyer. That double power bomb on the back windshield that Trent took was one of the most brutal spots you have seen all year. And just his back bleeding. Afterwards, I was like, Sue better rush him to the hospital after she flips off Santana and Ortiz.
Wasn't he the same person that got hit underneath the hood or the trunk area too?
No, that was Ortiz. Ortiz took the trunk.
They all took
they took crazy ass bumps. But I was like, where's he going? But then he was like underneath the car, and then he I forgot the move he did, but it was really, really good. I was like, where's he going with this? And he just hit his head on the back of the hood of that car. I was like, wow, like that's like they do that thing with that match.
And I do know there were some people, like our good friends at Wrestle Talk, who said they didn't really like the ending with Orange Cassidy getting involved and then Sue at the end. I enjoyed it because they set it up with Santana and Ortiz attacking Orange Cassidy last week, and as well as this protects Proud and Powerful. Yes. Where they can say that you needed another guy to beat us in a parking lot fight, so it made sense on a different number of levels. So
it's hilarious using the remote to open the trunk.
Absolutely. But this worked on so many levels, and Best Friends and Proud and Powerful came out of this looking great. So AEW definitely wins this week for sure. So we gotta move on. WWE news. NXT UK returns this week with the introduction of the Heritage Cup tournament. It's gonna start, I believe, after the drawing on next week's show, but this is their big return show this week. The Heritage Cup tournament is gonna be a new mid-card title to NXT UK. This is gonna be under British rounds rules, which matches will be 6 3-minute rounds, and matches will be 2 out of 3 falls with 20-second breaks in between the rounds. Romeo, what's your thoughts on NXT UK returning?
I'm not a big NXT UK guy. I didn't really pay attention to the weekly show. I would watch the pay-per-views when they would throw them on. But this seems like a reset to me. Maybe a chance for me to, okay, you know what? Let me start watching it. Let me see if they hook me. Let me see if they grab my attention. So I think I'll start watching NXT. Is it still an hour? It's just an hour, right?
Yes, it's just an hour.
Okay, jeez, it's just an hour. Okay, I could probably give an hour, maybe.
and it's on Thursday. We've all been asking for Thursday nights to not be a free wrestling night. Now you got some wrestling on Thursdays.
It's on Thursday afternoons, actually.
Exactly.
Would have been useful during the quarantine. But yeah, I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they hook me. Are they still gonna have TakeOver Dublin?
We will have to see. I know it was rescheduled to October, but we'll have to see if it's going to go down. Probably not with no fans in attendance. But
and the Heritage Cup is an interesting concept.
It is. I like the British round rules, so it's going to be interesting, and they got some interesting guys in it. We'll probably talk about it more next week on Tru Heel Heat. Jeff Hardy re-ups his contract with WWE, so we may never see another Hardy Boys match ever again, with Matt Hardy being a part of AEW long-term. Yes. God. He also says in an interview that his No More Words theme song will return when the fans are back. I know Junk Guy JJ is very happy to hear that. Krssi Luv, what's your thoughts on Jeff Hardy re-signing with WWE?
That's sad, because I was hoping that he went over to the other side and give a big F you, and he was his brother, but, you know, you can only wish for it, hopeful, you know.
Hopeful wishing you don't always get what you want.
I knew it! Jeff Hardy loves WWE!
Yep.
McMahon loves Jeff Hardy. The whole piss storyline that everyone hated. Jeff Hardy was writing that whole damn thing. Come on. He loves it there.
Sure.
Yeah, apparently Jeff did say that he was involved in some of the writing for that. So, you know, you say anything when they got you by a contract. Anyway, Wade Barrett has officially signed as a commentator for WWE NXT, so congratulations to him. Yeah. Mandy Rose is moving over to Monday Night Raw thanks to The Miz on Talking Smack this week. So we'll see. We see the end of Mandy Rhodes and Otis. WrestleVote reports that WWE is currently looking into outdoor venues for Raw and SmackDown following their residency in the Thunderdome. A WrestleMania 37 schedule is in conflict as the musical group Gropa Frima will be playing at Staples Center on the Friday and Saturday before WrestleMania, which is going to be the venue for TakeOver and SmackDown, as well as if SoFi Stadium will be able to be used at all for fans in attendance for Mania show itself. So WrestleMania 37 definitely in flux. They may have to move back maybe to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is having fans in attendance in Jacksonville, so
Tampa deserves it.
Hey, that is true. They
got robbed.
Wrestling got robbed, so yep, go there.
Hey, why not? Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that WWE has moved Hell in a Cell from November 1st to October 25th to have it at the Amway Center before their residency is up. Sarah Stock and Mike Rotunda join Gerald Briscoe, as we mentioned on Tru Heel Heat 91, as notable releases from WWE's recent cutbacks. And Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that some fired employees were very frustrated with being strung along by WWE. Wrestling Inc. reports that the live event department is in shambles due to the recent cutbacks, as they fired a 60% of their live events department. So very big changes for WWE in that regard. And Matt Sydal said that he had talks with WWE about a return earlier this year before the pandemic. And John Cena will be the new host of TBS's Wipeout. So yes, John Cena will be on Turner Sports. John Cena, the AEW confirmed. Anyway,
I thought Wipeout was an ABC show, but okay.
No, it's on TBS now.
Okay, sure.
AEW News, Chris Jericho, in a recent interview with our very good friend Alex McCarthy of Talk Sports, says that NXT should move off of Wednesday nights because losing to AEW week after week is embarrassing. Yeah. Romeo, you've had very interesting takes on Chris Jericho as of late. What are your thoughts on this comment by Jericho?
Chris Jericho trying to put the Wednesday Night Warriors out of business. What the hell, Chris? He's been watching. He's mad at me for all the stuff I said about him. That he should retire. That Judas has got to go. NXT they're just there to do one thing, and that's cock block. Cock block the ratings. Make sure AEW doesn't get to 1 million viewers and doesn't threaten Raw or SmackDown's numbers. That's what NXT is. It's just the redheaded stepchild. Just go do what you got to do. Block AEW.
I've had actual arguments with people who think that NXT's purpose is to make money when it's very obvious their purpose is to just take viewers from AEW. It's like, why are we even arguing about this?
Yeah.
Miro on his YouTube channel says that he will not work with Pac after due to a previous match that they had in WWE where he tore his bicep, and he wants to work with Kenny Omega. Who is the one guy you want to see Miro work with in AEW, Miss Krssi Luv?
I don't know. That's a hard one. MJF is just too good for him, so no, that wouldn't be great.
Well, he's a big fan of MJF, as he said on his YouTube channel as well.
I mean, I don't think they're on the same level, per se.
Dean Ambrose!
John Moxley. Goddamn, calling him by his slave name.
Right, wow. Slave name? Damn, yes. Guys, slave name?
Yes, that's what we're going with.
Let's go with damn, Darby is too
just think of the first you keep denying yourself of the first people you think of. Just go with the first person you think of.
MJF, then fine, whatever.
There you go. I think that would be cool. I think Miro is a natural babyface. Romeo, what's your thoughts on the best man gimmick for Miro?
I fucking hate him with Kip Sabian. That little segment they had on Dynamite, it was only like 1 or 2 minutes, but the worst part of Dynamite.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Because
No, that actually teased that he's gonna betray Kip Sabian because Kip Sabian because he was kind of annoyed with Kip Sabian not letting him go to the ring. Kip Sabian was annoyed with him for working out, and basically he's intimidated by Miro's size because Miro looked like he got bigger from last week when he was pulling out. So I did like that segment. That did tease that this partnership is not long term.
The book is out on Miro because I've always been a huge Rusev supporter. I always thought he had plenty of potential. Now's your time to prove it. Yeah. Don't make me look like an idiot for supporting you all this time. Don't make this about your Twitch channel. Yeah. The question you just asked, I would love to see Miro versus Orange Cassidy.
I like that. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. Former presidential candidate Andrew Yang spoke with Wrestling Inc. and it said that AEW has been an industry leader in how to treat talent in comparison to WWE with their recent third-party bans and other things. AEW files trademarks for All Elite Wrestling, Elite General Manager, and Elite GM for a possible video game. I'm all for that. Will Hobbs officially signs with AEW, so congrats to him, and he's in line for a big push, which we saw on Dynamite with him being involved in the main event scene. Jack Evans reveals that he is injured currently and will be out of action. AEW will have a special late night on Tuesday special after the NBA playoffs with Scorpio Sky versus the debuting Ben Carter that we saw on Warrior Wrestling. Anna Jay versus Brandy Rose in a grudge match, and the Matt Sydal in his what happened?
Letting Brandy fight.
Hey, she got to fight sometime. She is a wrestler.
I mean, hey, okay.
And Matt Sydal in his first appearance since All Out, where apparently from BTE, Michael Nakazawa is apparently responsible for him slipping on that Shooting Stars press. That goddamn Nakazawa. Matt Sydal will verse Sean Spears on this special, as well as Chris Jericho will be on commentary. What's the UG for?
Wait, who's going to be on commentary?
Sean Spears.
What's it, Sean Spears? You need somebody to job out to Matt Sydal.
Hey, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back.
And finally, on AEW, Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that All Out buy rates is about 100,000 to 110,000, making it the third or fourth highest in company history. New Japan.
I think it could have been stronger if there's not a pandemic going on where people are out of work and, might not be able to afford, the pay-per-view price.
Yeah.
The general trend for AEW was in regards to like Revolution was it was always going up. Each pay-per-view was higher than the last one. So yeah, I think you're probably right in that regards. New Japan Pro Wrestling announces that the Lions Break Crown tournament featuring the young stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong in the latest development of their US brand. The bracket was revealed as follows: Logan Regel versus DKC, Clark Connors versus Jordan Clearwater, who was on that Primetime Live show this week, Danny Limelight versus Barrett Brown, and Adrian Quest versus Blake Christian, another star that we checked out on Warrior Wrestling. And New Japan Pro Wrestling announces that Power Struggle event for November 7th, which is the same day as AEW Full Gear. So another jam-packed weekend of wrestling we got in store for us in the beginning of November. And Impact Wrestling news, we had Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo has finally been offered a 2-year deal with the company, and one half of the Impact Wrestling tag team champions Alex Shelley is currently working without a deal, while EC3 is as well. And then our final bit of news is MLW is still looking for TV and streaming deals after the announcement of them coming to Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on Fubo Sports. And All Japan Pro Wrestling Champions Carnival is underway with favorite Kento Miyahara currently at 0-2. So we'll have little news bits on All Japan Pro Wrestling Champions Carnival as it progresses. But speaking of tournaments, the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 30 opening weekend is this weekend. Krssi Luv's favorite time of the year, where she gets to make
it's time to climax.
Very sexual jokes about professional wrestling.
At least I'm not the only one. Okay.
Shout out to our good friends at Wrestling Joy who apparently agree with Krssi because they're doing their own predictions kind of sweepstakes on Twitter where fans get to predict each match of the G1 Climax, and it's called the Joy 1 Climax. So as you would think
that it's always going to be a happy ending. Put it like that. Sorry for the horn from outside.
Hey, can I say something real quick about
that was
G1?
on cue. Go ahead.
G1 Climax holds a special place near and dear to my heart because it is what introduced me to New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's this podcast I listen to. Quick plug: We Watch Wrestling podcast with comedians Matt McCarthy and Vince Averill. I was just listening to it. They were talking up G1 Climax, New Japan, and I was like, "Wow, I gotta check this out. So one summer, there's not much going on. I watched G1 Climax, and it was fucking awesome. These guys beat the shit out of each other for fucking 30 days in a row. I love it, and it's a tournament, and you got the standings, and it's very unique. It's a beautiful concept. Props to New Japan for G1 Climax.
So, what was the year that you were introduced?
That would have to be 3 years ago, I think.
Oh,
2017.
I said that on our G1 Climax 30 preview and predictions on a special J News Japan with me and J News, where we broke down each competitor as well as the matches that we were looking forward to on each night. I said 2017 is probably one of my favorites. That is the one that concluded with Tetsuya Naito versus Kenny Omega in the finals of the G1. My favorite finals of the G1 ever. But each year it just shows up. Some of the best matches of the year happen on the G1 Climax. If you've never watched it before, this is your introduction. If you're like Romeo was 3 years ago, this is your first time hearing about the G1. It is basically the premier tournament in New Japan Pro Wrestling. There are 20 competitors, 10 guys in each block A and block B. Each competitor will fight each person in their block. So each competitor has 9 matches. It is 19 days in total, 19 nights of great professional wrestling, and the winners from each block will compete on the final night, and the winner of that match gets a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Champion in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest show of New Japan's year, on January 4th next year. So the opening night will be in Osaka, both nights for A block competition and B block. We broke down the blocks last week, and once again, I just gotta say, I've watched G1 since 2014, 2015. This A block is the greatest block of talent that they have ever put together in G1 history. This starts on Saturday, September 19th. Yes, and that's saying a lot, Romeo. So A block competition will start from the bottom to the top. We'll get your predictions on night 1 here, guys. Will Ospreay will verse the Bullet Club's Yujiro Takahashi. Will Ospreay making his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yujiro Takahashi has seen a little bit of a push due to the US talent and UK talent not being on the shows. He's been feuding with Okada. He is the Tokyo Pimp, but Will Ospreay is the newest heavyweight to the New Japan Pro Wrestling, the former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, the man that won the Best of the Super Juniors last year, a 2-time winner of the Best of the Super Juniors, and the man that made his G1 Climax debut last year. Who you got, Romeo?
Yeah, Yujiro, congrats on your push, but it's fucking over. Will Ospreay, the new and improved, the beefed up. Did you see this guy? Wow, he is in tremendous shape, and Will Ospreay is back. He's winning this.
He looked like he ate a cow over the pandemic or something like that.
He did a lot better than I did in this. A lot more working out.
Yes, indeed. Miss Krssi Luv, who you got?
Definitely Will Ospreay. I was gonna go with the Bullet Club, but it's Will Ospreay. Come on, let's
I think Will Ospreay will have a nice return to the. He's going to show some ring rust, so it might not be an easy win for him. But I think
it's his comeback match. He's not losing to his comeback match.
This is the first time he's wrestling since I believe March. He had a match against his girlfriend Bea Priestley in the UK during the pandemic. But other than that, this is his first match, his first one-on-one match back. So I think that Will Ospreay will get the victory here. And like I said in the G1 preview, I think he's going to be in it to the end in the A block. Next up, we're going to see Jeff Cobb, the newest signee of New Japan Pro Wrestling, versus Suzuki Gun and one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Taishi. Taishi has been seeing a big push. Like I said, he won the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles with Zack Sabre Jr. back at Dominion in July. Jeff Cobb, the newly signed competitor for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who you got in this one, Miss Krssi Luv?
Cobb.
Going with Cobb, I will agree with you there. I think Jeff Cobb's going to get his first big win in the G1 right here. He made his debut last year, but he's going to make a presence known this year. Who you got, Romeo?
Jeff Cobb, here's your signing bonus. You get a quick win. Now that you're signed to New Japan, you can start winning some more matches.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, you're not ROH exclusive anymore. This one might be one of the best matches of the G1 altogether on night one, as it's going to be the IWGP Never Openweight Champion, Minoru Suzuki, the 52-year-old evil Japanese grandfather, as my girlfriend calls him, versus Tomohiro Ishii, the man that has probably put on the best G1 Climax matches over the last 4 or 5 years. This man always seems to be an MVP of the G1, while Minoru Suzuki has been the MVP of New Japan in 2020. Classic matches against Yuji versus Nagata versus Shingo Takagi back at Summer Struggle. This man put on a classic with Jon Moxley back in February at New Beginning, and now we got Suzuki versus Ishii. This is going to be hard hitting, and you're going to need an ice bath after watching this one. I am going to go with Ishii to defeat the Never Openweight Champion in this one. Who you got, Romeo?
These guys are going to beat the shit out of each other. I'm going to go Ishii as well.
Who do you got, Krssi?
Ishii for the win across the board.
Ishii across the board in this one. Now we got the Bullet Club's own, the returning Switchblade, Jay White versus Shingo Takagi. Shingo Takagi has been one of the MVPs of New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2020. Like I said, that classic match with Suzuki. He had great matches with El Desperado as well as Show over the pandemic since their return from lockdown, while Switchblade Jay White is making his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling after he won the B block last year in the G1. Who you got in this one? We'll start with you, Krssi.
Jay White for the win.
Jay White. And who you got, Romeo?
Me and Jay White, we have a hate relationship. He hates me, I hate him. I'm going with Shingo.
That's fair. That's fair.
Come out his mouth.
That's fair. I am going to go with Jay White in this one. I think he's going to make a nice return to New Japan Pro Wrestling right in this one. And
It's rusty.
He is, but he did have some warm-up matches on New Japan Strong. And then we have the main event. Now, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're different from like WWE and AEW. Las Vegas has odds on who wins those matches in those promotions. In New Japan, they have odds on how many stars matches are going to get. Las Vegas has on odds this match to get 5 stars minimum. 5 stars because of the classics that they put on in the A Block Finals last year in the G1 and the Match of the Year candidate they had at Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 1 earlier this year. It is Kazuchika Okada versus the winner of the G1 Climax 29 last year, Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi is coming off of a loss of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles earlier this summer, while Kazuchika Okada has had an off year, to say the least, ever since losing the IWGP Heavyweight Championship on night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 14. He has been losing a lot. He lost in the finals of the New Japan Cup. He's been on the second matches of shows. He hasn't changed his hair color or gotten balloons like he did 2 years ago when he lost the IWGP Heavyweight title, but it's been an off year for Okada. But who you got, Okada versus Ibushi, Romeo?
This is a toss-up. You can flip a coin here. Either one of them can win it. I'll go Ibushi for this one.
And how many stars does this match get?
3.
I'm not big with the stars. You know me. I rarely get 5 stars. This is gonna get 5 stars, baby.
Wow.
5.
These guys just know how to perform, and this is gonna be a great matchup. I'm gonna predict This is tough, but yeah, I'm going to agree with you and go with Ibushi in this one. I think Ibushi gets the victory here, and I'm going with 5.5 stars. Yes.
These guys, man, they cannot stick to a 0 to 5 rating.
Hey,
I
will give it between 1 and 5 stars, but this is star ratings based on Uncle Dave Meltzer, so I'm going with 5.5.
Uncle Dave
this
needs some prescription medicine.
This is why I call him Drunk Uncle Dave. Krssi Luv, what you got?
You can't go wrong with either person, I feel. That's what makes it so tough, but I'm going to make it across the board and make it with Ibushi.
Unanimous.
Oh, do I need to give stars too?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Okay. I would sing 3, but
3.
No,
we're not talking about your star rating. We're talking about Drunk Uncle Dave's star rating.
I guess that's if Ibushi breaks his neck.
Yeah. The match ends at like 3 minutes, maybe.
4.5 stars, friends.
Wow, it's gonna go below expectations to Krssi Luv.
Somebody send me a link so I can watch it live, and I will be wrong, and I will say I was wrong, and I'll admit it, and I'll say that it was a pillar of a match. Okay?
I will send you the link on Saturday. And then night 2 is going to be also in Osaka over in the B block. The B block is not as stacked as the A block, but definitely a lot of good competitors here. We're going to have Juice Robinson making his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling versus one third of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions in Yoshihashi. Yoshihashi won his first title in New Japan after a couple of decades in the promotion recently, joining with Goto and Ishii to win those titles, while Juice Robinson has had an up and down year. He's been fighting injury. He lost the IWGP tag team titles to GOD earlier this year. But who do you got in this one? I'll start with you, Romeo.
Fuck both these guys. I think it's going to be a double count out. I think nobody wins.
God damn, that was you're just
These answers from like left field, like the baseball, like what? Like the shortstop is there, but went past and went over to the left. Okay, sure.
Krssi, who you got?
I'm going with Juice.
I am going to go with Yoshihashi. I think Yoshihashi needs victories early on to prove why he's even here. Sanada versus Toru Yano is next up. If you watch J News Japan, you know our brother J News is in love with Sanada. In love so much that I will give you a little spoiler for our G1 Climax 30 preview and predictions. Once again, just like he predicted in the New Japan Cup, and he was wrong and I was wrong. Sanada didn't win there, but he thinks Sanada is going to win the G1 this year, but he is versing the King of Pro Wrestling, Toru Yano, the most hilarious professional wrestler in all of the business today. This is going to be a comedy match, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Who do you got? Yano versus Sanada. I will go first, and I will say that Yano gets the victory in this one. Who do you got, Krssi?
Sanada.
You going with Sanada, Romeo?
This is going to be hilarious. These two are going to troll each other the whole match. Sanada's going to put Yano in a little pretzel roll. That shit is hilarious. And then Yano's going to do whatever Yano does. Sanada wins. This is my second most anticipated match after Okada Ibushi. This one. Just to laugh my ass off.
I think I'm going to love this one, though. ZSJ, Zack Sabre Jr., one half of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions versus the former double strap champion, Evil. Evil is coming off of losing the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental titles back at Summer Struggle to Tetsuya Naito. It was the summer of Evil, with him becoming one of the top heels in New Japan, while Zack Sabre Jr. is a guy who was like second place in the G1 in 2018, while he was towards the bottom of the pack last year in the G1. So where do you guys see these two facing off on night 1? How did it play out? Who you got? I will start with you, Romeo. ZSJ versus Evil.
I'm gonna go with Evil here.
Krssi?
Zack Sabre.
I'm gonna split the difference here, and I am gonna go with Evil winning this one. And then finally, the main event of the B block on night 1 on September 20th. It is.
Wait, you forgot one. Goto versus Kenta.
Oh, wait, yes, my fault. I skipped over that one. Yes, Hiroki Goto will go one-on-one with Kenta. This is a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 14, where these two battled for the Never Openweight Championship. Hiroki Goto is like the nearly man of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's always getting shots at the IWGP Heavyweight title and coming up short, while Kenta has been one of the top heels in New Japan since he turned heel last year on the G1 Climax 29 final night when he turned his back on Shibata. And he's one of the favorites to win the B block in a lot of people's eyes. Who do you got? Kenta versus Goto. I'll start with you, Romeo.
I think this is a low-key sleeper match of how good this is going to be. I'll go Kenta.
Kenta, who do you got, Krssi?
I was going to say Kenta.
Across the board, I am going to agree with you guys and go with Kenta as well. And then finally, like I was so anticipating this matchup. I skipped over matches. Thank you, Romeo. But yes, this one is going to be one of the best matches of either night, as one of the top feuds in New Japan over the last couple of years is reignited for the first time since the G1 Climax in 2017, the one that Romeo was introduced to the G1 in, where these guys battled it out in a block finals. These men had versed in Wrestle Kingdom as well. This is one of the best rivalries. This is the whole reason why Naito became the ungovernable one. He went to LIJ because of him falling short of the Ace's expectations, as it's going to be the Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi going one-on-one with the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion Tetsuya Naito. Tetsuya Naito won back the double straps at Summer Struggle a couple of weeks ago. He's won it twice in 2020 here, while Hiroshi Tanahashi has been on the decline of his career after winning the G1 Climax 2 years ago. We have seen the fall of the Ace ever since then, but does the Ace come back to prominence in the G1, or does Tetsuya Naito become just the third champion to win the G1? But it all starts on night one. Who you got? Naito versus Tanahashi. Krssi.
Naito.
Romeo.
Naito is by far my favorite New Japan Pro wrestler, but he has to lose some matches here, and he's the champ. You know, Tanahashi. There's no shame in losing to Tanahashi. Tanahashi wins.
I think that Tanahashi is gonna be in it towards the end, but you gotta create the downfall. We gotta see his whole downfall represented in this matchup, so I'm going to agree with Krssi and go with Naito in this one. But it's going to be a jam-packed weekend. If you guys want a full breakdown of the entire tournament, we got our full in-depth G1 Climax 30 preview and predictions with myself and Jay News. That is up on our YouTube channel right now. Check it out. It's a long video because we go through everything. We talk about all the storylines with each person and what matches to look forward on each and every night, so check that out for sure. This is our outro for Tru Heel Heat 92. You can also check out an all-new True Rewind with my good brother here, Romeo, Drunk Guy JJ, and myself. We also got Joints and Jabronis for August with Chris G and Ness. A very funny one. A lot of Matt Hardy in that one, to say the least. Two new J News Japan as he reviews New Japan Strong as well as New Japan Road, so check those out as well. And new editions of Wednesday Night Warriors, Dark Power reviewing AEW Dark and Impact Wrestling, as well as NWA UWN Primetime Live, and AE Recap will be up this weekend, as well as our good brother Ness, the Roundtable Rebel, will be back with his own new series, Review of Honor, as he reviews the ROH Pure Tournament. Romeo, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell the good people at home where they can find you, sir.
The Pride of NY on Twitter and Instagram.
And of course, what's your shows up on here? I know I just plugged a bunch.
You already said them. Okay. You know what?
No need to repeat them, right?
He's modest. He's so modest sometimes. Krssi, tell them where they can find you.
I am the sensationalist Krssi Luv. You can find me on IG and Twitter, Krssi Luv _ Miss Krssi Luv. And on Facebook, I am just simply Crystal Lynch.
And of course, you can follow the Tru Heel Heat movement on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We got the Tru Heels group page on Facebook. Our good friends at Battle Club Pro Wrestling Travel, as well as Warrior Wrestling. You can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Uncanny Attractions, you can follow them on Twitter and Instagram as well. Of course, our good brother, Top Guy JJ, you can follow him at Tru Heel _ Top Guy JJ. And on YouTube, follow our good friends Battle Club Pro, Warrior Wrestling, Wrestling Travel, Jimmy Macaram, as well as Alex McCarthy, Tom Conahue, and of course, Krssi Luv's favorite YouTube channel, My Battery is Dying. That's a plug for that. Get it? With Marcus Cash.
My battery is literally dying right now.
Another plug for that. And of course, you can listen to Tru Heel Heat on all your favorite audio platforms. So until Tru Heel,
for making us, we're trying to get to the 1,000.
Of course, Krssi Luv. Thanks for the reminder. This is a reminder to you guys at home. If you made it this far through, give us a like, share this video with all your wrestling fans, become a part of our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We will give away free merch. After we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're just going to pick at random one of our subscribers to give free merch to. So share this along, get more subscribers to the page. And I want to thank you guys for us hitting 800 subscribers. 800 subscribers to our YouTube channel. We are very happy for that, and it wouldn't be possible without the great people like Krssi Luv, Romeo, and everyone else on the Tru Heel Heat team. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you watching at home. The iCard down at the bottom, push that to subscribe, and the bell below that to stay notified for all the great content right here. So until Tru Heel Heat 93 next week, it is me, Tru Heel. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 92. We are signing off until next time.